What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we're going to be having a look at a very nice character card in the Transformers TCG, one that I would like to have gotten around to before, and I just haven't. It's Autobot Mirage. I like Autobot Mirage. It's a car, and we've talked about cars quite a bit lately. One of the things I like about Auto Mirage now more than I used to, Autobot Mirage is a 9-cost card, and as we looked at in our video yesterday, we now have Scamper, which is a 4-cost card. That gives you 13 stars, which gives you 12 stars remaining, which means you can still play 2 of those 6-cost cards. Might I suggest Bumblebee Legendary Warrior and Prowl Military Strategist, although there are of course others that you can use. So Autobot Mirage then, it's a 9-cost, which is slightly above average. And the health is a 12, which is dead on average. Defense is 2, which is dead on average. And attack is 4 in alt mode, dead on average. 5 in bot mode, which I'm sure you figured out by now, is 1 above average. So the stats here for a character which is slightly above average cost, not terribly inspiring. But oh my goodness, it's a potentially phenomenal card. In bot mode, there's a very nice skill. When this attacks for the first time each turn, and you flip at least 3 white icons, untap this. Now it says for the first time each turn, because obviously otherwise you could just play all white icons and just have a loop where you definitely win the game, because you only play battle cards that have white icons, and then you attack. Hey! You flip 3 white icons, because you always hit 1 icon, 1 white. You hit 2 white. The first one of which lets you flip 2 more, both of which are white, and you just end up in an infinite loop of attack. Flip 3 white icons, untap. Attack. Flip 3 white icons, untap, until you win the game. So, no, ladies and gentlemen, it's only once per turn. But it's still a very good ability. Now, you need to be playing a lot of white icons in order to make this work. We'll talk more about them in a moment. But you potentially get extra turns. You potentially get extra attacks with this. That can swing a game. And what we see here is a classic card design example. Yes, it's slightly above average cost. Yes, the stats aren't particularly good. But yes, the skills are so good that it very much makes up for the fact that the stats are not quite as high as we'd like. So you play a bunch of white icons and hopefully you're not going to do it all the time. I mean, generally speaking, you flip 2 battle cards when you attack. If one of them's white, you flip 2 more. And you're not always going to be able to work that. But more on that in a minute, that we've got some options. In bot mode, when you flip to this mode, you may play an action card. This is ridiculous. This is amazing. Playing extra action cards is good. We've got the Optimus Prime we looked at previously, the Battlefield Legend, the rare one, which lets you play an extra battle card when you're attacking in bot mode. And we've seen Brainstorm before, which lets you play 2 action cards. Well, you play Brainstorm and then you play 2 more action cards. Playing action cards is good. Playing action cards wins you the game. This allows you to do so, which is phenomenal. That could be something like an extra rapid conversion, so you get to flip one of your other cars. That could be quite nice. Or maybe it's something like a backup plan. Scrap your hand and draw 3 cards. I'm giving you examples here of pretty good action cards with white icons, because of course, you kind of want to go for the white icons a little bit here. Or heck, maybe you give yourself Supercharge. That could be kind of fun. Supercharge gives you 3 bold. I can live with that, ladies and gentlemen. I can absolutely live with that. Or you play Brainstorm and get 2 more actions. So that's pretty cool. In terms of partners, we've got a bunch of options here. I mean, it is a car, so we do need to think a little bit about it being a car. So maybe you go for Prowl, which I mentioned earlier. Where a car is KO'd, you repair 3 damage from one of your characters. Or and this is what I really love about Prowl with Mirage here, when you flip it into alt mode, each of your cards gets bold 2 until the end of the turn. Now remember your bot mode skill, you want to essentially flip as many cards as you can, because as soon as you hit 3 white icons, you essentially get an extra turn. That's really important. So what you need to do here is bold up. Because the more bold you've got, the more battle cards you flip when attacking. The more battle cards you flip when attacking, the more likely you are to flip 3 white icons. That's very good. So literally here, just having Prowl giving you bold 2, that really helps here, and I love it. I mentioned Bumblebee Brave Warrior earlier. I mean, it's a 6-cost car. It's not the best car ever, but it does give all of your other characters Pierce 1 until the end of the turn. That's pretty nice when you're flipping it into bot mode here. So that could be quite fun. They're really the ones I would want to play it with. I would probably be going Bumblebee and Prowl, and then just whacking Scamper in purely because it's a 4-cost card. But maybe you want to play with something like RC Skilled Warrior, which repairs 1 damage from each of your characters and is a 5-cost here. And there are other cars you can go for. We've got Autobot Jazz, which actually fits quite nicely, because firstly, it's a car, but secondly, when you attack and flip 2 white icons, you get Pierce 2. When you defend against an enemy that doesn't have Pierce and you flip 2 white icons, you cannot take more than 2 damage. And given that you're wanting to play white icons for Mirage's skill, it's quite nice to play something like Autobot Jazz, which wants the white icons. And it's a 6-cost car, so you could pop it in instead of Bumblebee, or you could pop it in instead of Prowl, but I'd pop it in for Bumblebee here. Okay. That sounds quite good. Now, I should mention that it is a car, which does mean that you have access to start your engines, flip each of your characters from bot mode to car mode, then untap one of your cars. That sounds pretty gosh darn good here. And in terms of an upgrade here, we do have turbo boosters. It gives you 1 extra attack, which is always good, but you get to put it on a car and untap them. Yeah, cars really like untapping here. And you are a melee character, at least you're a melee character in alt mode here, and the melee characters have really good upgrades. You've got body armor, which gives you tough 3, but more importantly here, you've got power sword that gives you bold 3. I know, right? And again, this is super important. Power Sword gives you bold 3. Prowl gives you bold 2. So now you're flipping 7 cards straight away. And all of this is really starting to help because you want to get the 3 white icons. Mirage has one of the best abilities in the game because you get to untap yourself. Because it's such a good ability, it's difficult to use. Bold is the best way to do it. If you want to really take advantage of this, what you need is lots of white icons and lots of bold. Now, in terms of upgrades, there are a bunch of white icons we could use. And again, we're going to be looking towards these, even if they're not maybe the best one ever, because we really want to try and maximize the white icons. I mean, combat training's really nice here. If you've got a weapon, it's got bold 1. So if you've got a power sword on there, you're actually up to bold 4 with that, which I think is pretty gosh darn good. Crushing Size gives you Pierce 1, that's quite nice. Lets you scrap an enemy utility, and of course you've got the white icon here. And by now you should know of my affinity for Force Field, which means you can only take a maximum 4 damage. And yeah, it's got a bit of the old white icon going along. Mirage takes a little bit of testing in terms of trying to figure out the best thing to do here. Because on the one hand, you want lots of white icons, but on the other hand, white icons are not necessarily attached to all the cards you want to play. But if you play around with bold here, then every bold gives you 2 more battle cards, which means you can play slightly fewer white icons as long as you're playing enough bold. Either way, this is a very, very exciting character. This is a character that clearly has a huge amount of potential. It's a car, lots of good things about cars, but it's the skills here. Playing extra action cards, good. But untapping yourself when you attack, like I said, they literally had to include an addendum here on the text. I mean, it wasn't added, I suppose, but you know what I mean. There had to be a little caveat here, because otherwise you would automatically win just by playing a battle card of 40 white icons. And you would never be able to lose. Which would be funny, but it would make for some boring games. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I think Mirage is a very fun card. I think there's a lot of potential. But I want to know from you guys. So do make sure you let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but please do remember the rule. Be nice. And then, of course, make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at Wossy, where I talk about Transformers and other fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.